Well, good evening. This is Duan here for Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship, dropping in again after a few weeks of us being away. We usually take a break during the month of March from our regular support programs, and we offer a retreat mid-month. We also have a Share Your Story seminar. Share Your Story seminar, as the name would suggest, is about learning how to share your story, which is a really awesome kind of experience. And so we did that in early March. And then we got ready for our retreat, which was in mid-March. Had about 60 people that went to that, which was an awesome weekend. We just spent some time in 1 Peter and also just spending time with each other and encountering God in that. And so that was a pretty awesome time as well. And this evening, it's starting to feel like spring and maybe even just a little teeny bit of summer. And so coming to you from outside, which is awesome. The retreat kind of felt like this to some degree too, which was a great thing. So after all that, we kind of take a little bit of a break, or spring break, and other things going on. And so then we come back together tonight for the first time after that break. So really looking forward to the evening and to what people will have encountered during the break. For some, they had significant moments at the retreat, whether that was practicing surrender of saying, God, I give this, whatever it is, this thing, this behavior, this pattern, this mindset to you. I surrender it to you, and I want to encounter more of you in that place. If you'd like to read more about surrender, you can check out our newsletter that's going to be coming out. We dropped it in the mail today. The electronic one will be coming perhaps tomorrow or the next day, and it talks about surrender and what that looks like and why it's significant in our journey of walking with God, and particularly addressing the issues of sexual brokenness. So tonight, though, we're again looking forward to everybody coming back together for a regular night of groups. We have several different topics that we're going over, which I won't kind of dig into all of those for you, but some really good things. I thought I would talk for a moment about one of our core beliefs. So we have a series of statements that we use here at Mid-Valley Fellowship. They're all biblical concepts that are true and unchanging, and they have scripture that goes with them. And so the one that we actually were going to focus on tonight is the one that says, our sexual struggles are partly the result of unmet, genuine emotional needs. And our attempts to meet those needs, apart from God, have only led to a life of frustration and futility. So our sexual struggles are partly the result of unmet, genuine emotional needs. When we are young, when we're children, we are designed as people, even as we grow up, but we have needs that God's put in us. He didn't design us to just sort of be able to function without anybody else in our lives, but we have legitimate needs for love and identity and affection and acceptance and different things like that, secure sense of security, a sense of place. And so we have all these needs that need to be filled. And God did design it where our parents were intended to be the ones that fill those needs. But none of us are perfect, and our parents weren't perfect either. And so there are those places that don't get filled the way that they need to get filled. And so we kind of walk around with these gaps in our hearts that we don't know what to do with a lot of times. And so we kind of come up with our own ways of trying to fill those things rather than doing it the way that God designed for it to be filled. And so in that place of an unmet need, and the need itself is not the problem, the need for affection, the need for love, the need for acceptance, the need for security, for identity, these are all things that God put in us, right? And so the need itself is not bad, it's how we go about trying to fill it that it becomes a problem and can lead to addiction and brokenness and wounding in other people's lives and all those things. So if we go back to that core belief, our sexual struggles are partly the result of unmet, genuine emotional needs. So those needs are legitimate, but they've gone unmet. And they are emotional needs, not in the sense of like, well, somebody might say, well, my legitimate need is I need sex. It's like, okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about emotional needs, and arguably you don't need sex, but you do have these other needs that you do need to have met. And so in that place of a need going unmet, again, we try to fill it in some way. And so from that can result various kinds of sexual addiction or sexual brokenness because we're trying to fill that need in an unhealthy way. And so when we realize that and understand, okay, this is a legitimate need, but I'm trying to fill it in an inappropriate way. That, when we try to fill it in an inappropriate way, leads to a life of frustration and futility. But when we can come back to and say, okay, what's God's design for how I'm supposed to meet this need? What is His intent of how it's supposed to happen? Then our lives can shift and transformation can occur, where I realize that, okay, that need for a sense of security, a sense of identity, I need to go to God with that. Like, God needs to speak that to me. God needs to tell me who I am, and I need to hear that on a regular basis of who I am so I can stand confidently in that. And so that's a piece of it, that I need God to speak those things in. And those places of acceptance and affection and all those things, I need people in my life who will speak those things in and who will accept me, who will love me, who will relate with me in those vulnerable places, in those places where I might feel shame or where I don't want people to see me, that I can relate with people in that place. And so that people also end up playing a part of meeting those needs in legitimate ways. And so when we meet our needs the way that God intended them to be met, then transformation occurs, and the sexual behavior, the addiction that was trying to meet that need is no longer necessary because the need is being met in a healthy way. It's like a person who is hungry, if they have fast food in front of them that is really bad for you, but we all kind of like it sometimes, it's really bad for you. If you're really hungry, you're going to take it in anyway, right? But if you have fast food and you have a really awesome, well-prepared meal that is well-balanced and has lots of delicious things in it, you'll go to the well-balanced meal and the fast food will not be as appealing because you've gotten the real thing, the thing that actually will meet the need. So our sexual struggles are partly the result of unmet, genuine emotional needs. Our attempts to meet those needs, apart from God, have only led to a life of frustration and futility. So we value your prayers tonight as we engage with people and help them identify what are the legitimate needs that I'm trying to fill with these other things, and what's God's design and intent for how to meet that need in a healthy way. And so, again, it's a spiritual battle, and it's something that we need God's help in, for sure. We need to encounter Him. We need to help others encounter Him as well. So please be praying for us, and we look forward to a great evening tonight and what God will do in the context of this evening. Thanks for dropping in, and we'll see you next time.